The Church of St. Francis of Assisi is one of the first tall brick and built sandstone buildings in Krakow. It was built between 12,037 and 12,069. Its founding is connected with the arrival of the Franciscans to Krakow. Adjacent to the church is a Franciscan monastery built in the same time. The Franciscans arrived in Krakow in 12,036 or 12,037 from Prague. They were invited by the Polish Duke Henry II the Pious, who had also previously brought the Franciscan to Wrocław. The chapter of Krakow donated land for the church and the monastery. In 1269, the church was consecrated, dedicated to St. Francis of Assisi, founder of the Franciscan order. Contributions of the faithful allowed the church to be built. The founding was therefore collective. This does not, however, exclude the later great benefactors, including Duke Boleslav the Chaste. Franciscan Monastery in Krakow is the only one in the Polish territories that has been operating continuously since the 13th century. The Franciscan church was constructed on a Latin cross plan. It was built accordingly to Gothic, but there are still visible influences of the late Romanesque architecture. The construction works finished in 12,069, but some reconstructions were conducted later. In their long history, both the church and the monastery were afflicted by many calamities, such as thefts, robberies, and fires. The great destruction of the church brought the fire of 1850. A large part of the temple was burned down, along with precious artifacts and the original written records of its consecration. Immediately after the fire, restoration of the church began. In 1895, the eastern part of the church received a polychrome by Stanisław Wyspiański. He was also the author of the magnificent stained glass windows, among which is the powerful image of God in the moment of creation of the world, located above the church choir. Stanisław Wyspiański also designed 5 stained glass windows in the presbytery that show classical elements, as well as St. Francis and the Blessed Salome. Also, a plate made in 1871 and designed by Jan Matejko, showing the silhouette of the Duke Boleslav the Chaste, is placed in the presbytery, near the main altar. There are 3 chapters in the church. In the first one, relics of Blessed Salome were laid, and her brother, Duke Boleslav the Chaste, a great benefactor of the monastery, was also buried. For the chapter of Passion of Jesus, Josef Mehofer painted images of the Way of the Cross between 1933 and 1946. Displayed in the chapel is a life-size certified copy of the Shroud of Turin, consecrated by the Pope John Paul II. The third chapel, Our Lady of Sorrows, was formed in the northern arm in the 15th century cloister, which is preserved Gothic rib vaults.